Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and as always, I'm very happy to have you with us today. Whether you are listening while studying, working, traveling, or simply relaxing at home, thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Our goal is to help you improve your English in a simple, practical, and enjoyable way.
And I'm Julia. It's wonderful to be here with all of you again. Today, we are going to discuss a topic that is very important for almost every English learner around the world. Have you ever wondered why some people study English for many years but still struggle to speak it confidently? If that sounds familiar, don't worry. You are definitely not alone.
That's right, Julia. Millions of learners spend countless hours learning grammar rules, memorizing vocabulary, and watching English videos. Yet when it's time to speak, they often feel nervous, shy, or completely stuck. The question is, why does this happen?
In today's episode, we're going to explore the real reasons why most people fail to speak English fluently. More importantly, we'll share practical advice and simple solutions that can help you avoid these common mistakes and start speaking with more confidence.
So, if you're ready to discover what's holding many English learners back and how you can move forward faster, stay with us until the end of this episode.
Let's get started!
Julia, before we talk about the reasons why people fail to speak English, I think we should first discuss a very common problem that many learners experience every day. There are millions of people around the world who have been studying English for years. They know a lot of vocabulary, they understand many grammar rules, and they can even read English articles or watch English videos without too much difficulty. But when someone asks them a simple question in English, they suddenly become silent. They know the words in their minds, but they cannot express them confidently.
That's absolutely true, Jason. In fact, many learners send us messages saying, "I can understand English, but I can't speak it." This is one of the biggest frustrations for English learners. They spend months or even years studying, yet when they have an opportunity to speak, they feel nervous and uncomfortable. Their hearts start beating faster, they worry about making mistakes, and they begin to doubt their abilities.
And the interesting thing is that the problem is usually not a lack of knowledge. Most learners already know more English than they think. The real problem is that they have trained themselves to study English, but they have not trained themselves to use English in real conversations. Speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it improves through practice. You cannot become a confident speaker simply by reading books or memorizing grammar rules.
Another reason many learners stay silent is that they are waiting for the perfect moment. They tell themselves, "I will start speaking when my grammar is perfect," or "I will speak when I know more vocabulary." But the truth is that perfect moment never comes. There will always be another grammar rule to learn or another word to memorize. If you keep waiting to become perfect, you may never start speaking at all.
That's such an important point. Many learners also compare themselves to fluent speakers and feel discouraged. They listen to native speakers or advanced learners and think, "My English is not good enough." As a result, they become afraid of speaking. Instead of using the English they already know, they stay quiet because they are worried about sounding incorrect.
And unfortunately, the more they avoid speaking, the bigger the problem becomes. Confidence grows when you practice, not when you stay silent. Every conversation, every mistake, and every attempt to speak helps you improve. The learners who make progress are not necessarily the smartest ones. They are the ones who are willing to open their mouths and practice regularly.
Exactly, Julia. If you're listening right now and you often feel too shy or too nervous to speak English, remember this: you are not alone. This is a challenge that almost every successful English speaker has faced at some point. The good news is that once you understand the problem, you can start taking simple steps to overcome it and become a more confident English speaker. Now let's talk about the first major reason why many people fail to speak English fluently. Surprisingly, the problem is not that they don't study enough. In fact, many learners spend a lot of time studying English every single day. They watch lessons, read grammar books, memorize vocabulary lists, and complete exercises. The problem is that they focus so much on learning English that they forget the most important part: actually speaking English.
That's a very common mistake, Jason. Many learners believe that if they keep studying for a few more months, they will suddenly become fluent speakers. But language doesn't work that way. English is not a subject that you can master only by reading and memorizing. English is a communication skill, and communication skills improve through practice. If you want to speak English confidently, you must spend time speaking, not just studying.
Think about it this way. Imagine someone who reads 10 books about swimming, watches hundreds of videos about swimming techniques, and learns all the rules of swimming. Would that person become a great swimmer without ever getting into the water? Of course not. The same is true for English. You can learn grammar and vocabulary all day long, but if you never open your mouth and speak, your speaking skills will remain weak.
Exactly. Successful English learners understand that studying and speaking must go together. They don't wait until they know everything. They use the words they already know, practice simple conversations, and gradually become more comfortable speaking. Remember, fluency is not built by learning alone. It is built by using what you learn in real-life situations.
So if you want to improve your English speaking skills faster, don't just be a student of English. Become a user of English. Speak a little every day, even if it's not perfect, because every minute you spend speaking brings you one step closer to fluency. Let's move on to the second reason why many people fail to speak English. They are afraid of making mistakes. This fear is one of the biggest obstacles that prevents learners from improving their speaking skills. Many people worry that others will laugh at them, judge them, or think they are not intelligent if they make a grammar mistake or pronounce a word incorrectly. Because of this fear, they choose to stay silent instead of speaking.
That's absolutely true, Jason. What many learners don't realize is that mistakes are a natural and necessary part of learning any language. Nobody speaks perfectly when they first start learning. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The goal is not to speak perfect English from the beginning. The goal is to communicate and improve little by little every day.
Unfortunately, many learners think that making mistakes means they are failing. But the opposite is actually true. Mistakes are proof that you are trying, practicing, and learning. Every time you make a mistake and correct it, you become a stronger English speaker. If you never make mistakes, it usually means you are not challenging yourself enough.
Exactly. Think about a child learning to walk. A child falls many times before learning how to walk confidently. We don't expect the child to be perfect on the first day. In the same way, English learners should not expect themselves to speak perfectly from the beginning. Progress comes from practice, patience, and persistence.
So, if you are afraid of making mistakes, remember this simple truth. Every fluent English speaker you admire today was once a beginner who made many mistakes. The difference is that they didn't let those mistakes stop them. They kept speaking, kept learning, and kept improving.
That's right. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Be afraid of missing opportunities to practice. The more you speak, the more confident you become, and the faster your English will improve.
Now let's discuss the third reason why many people fail to speak English fluently. They do not practice consistently. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most important factors in language learning. Many learners feel highly motivated for a few days or even a few weeks. They study English for hours, watch videos, and practice speaking. But after some time, they become busy, lose motivation, or stop practicing regularly. As a result, their progress slows down, and sometimes they even forget what they have learned.
That's such a common problem, Jason. Many people believe they need long study sessions to improve their English, but that's not always true. What matters most is consistency. Practicing English for just 10 or 15 minutes every day is often much more effective than studying for 3 hours once a week. Small daily efforts create strong habits, and strong habits lead to long-term success.
Exactly. Learning English is very similar to exercising at a gym. You cannot go to the gym once a month and expect to become strong and healthy. You need regular practice. The same principle applies to English speaking. Every day that you listen, speak, read, or think in English, you are strengthening your language skills little by little.
Another important point is that consistency builds confidence. When you practice regularly, English becomes a natural part of your daily life. You begin to remember words more easily, form sentences more quickly, and feel more comfortable expressing your thoughts. But when you stop practicing for long periods, it becomes harder to maintain that confidence and momentum.
So, if you're serious about improving your English speaking skills, don't focus on being perfect. Focus on being consistent. Even a few minutes of daily practice can make a huge difference over time.
That's right. Remember, fluency is not achieved through occasional effort. It is achieved through consistent practice. The learners who succeed are usually not the ones who study the most in one day. They are the ones who keep showing up and practicing day after day.
Hi, Julia. Can I ask you something?
Of course, Jason. What's on your mind?
I've been learning English for quite a long time, but I still feel nervous whenever I have to speak with someone in English. Sometimes I know the words, but I can't say them confidently.
That's actually a very common problem, Jason. Many English learners experience the same thing. Can you tell me what makes you feel nervous?
I think I'm afraid of making mistakes. I worry that people might laugh at me if I say something wrong.
I understand that feeling, but remember this. Mistakes are a normal part of learning. Every fluent English speaker made mistakes when they were learning. The important thing is to keep speaking and keep practicing.
That makes sense. I also realize that I spend a lot of time studying grammar and vocabulary, but I don't spend enough time actually speaking English.
Exactly. Studying is important, but speaking is a skill that improves through practice. The more you speak, the more comfortable and confident you will become.
So, what should I do to improve my speaking skills?
Start with small daily habits. Speak English for 10 or 15 minutes every day. Talk about your daily routine. Describe what you see around you, or practice simple conversations with friends or even by yourself.
That sounds much easier than I thought. Instead of waiting to become perfect, I should start speaking with the English I already know.
Absolutely. Confidence comes from action, not from waiting. Every conversation is an opportunity to learn and improve.
Thank you, Julia. I feel much more motivated now.
You're welcome, Jason. And to everyone listening, remember, don't be afraid to speak. Use English every day, make mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. That's how real progress happens.
Now that we've talked about the main reasons why many people struggle to speak English, let's discuss some common mistakes that English learners must avoid. These mistakes may seem small, but they can seriously slow down your progress if you keep repeating them.
That's right, Jason. One of the biggest mistakes is trying to translate every sentence from your native language into English before speaking. This habit makes conversations slow and stressful. Instead, learners should try to think directly in English, even if they start with very simple words and sentences.
Another common mistake is waiting until your grammar is perfect before speaking. Many learners believe they need to know every grammar rule before they can have a conversation. But the truth is that communication is more important than perfection. If you keep waiting to become perfect, you may never start speaking confidently.
I completely agree. Another mistake is comparing yourself to fluent speakers. When learners compare their beginner-level English to someone who has practiced for many years, they often become discouraged. Remember, everyone learns at a different pace, and the only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday.
And here's one more mistake: not speaking out loud. Many learners only read, listen, or watch English content, but they rarely use their voices. Speaking out loud helps train your mouth, improve pronunciation, and build confidence much faster.
Exactly. So, avoid these common mistakes. Don't translate everything, don't wait for perfect grammar, don't compare yourself to others, and don't stay silent. The more you practice speaking, the faster you will improve.
Remember, progress comes from action. Make mistakes, learn from them, and keep speaking English every day. Before we finish today's episode, I want to share an important message with everyone listening. If you sometimes feel frustrated, discouraged, or disappointed with your English progress, please remember that learning a language is a journey, not a race. Every fluent English speaker you admire today started exactly where you are now. They were beginners. They made mistakes. They forgot words. They felt nervous. But they kept going.
That's such an important reminder, Jason. Many learners think that confident speakers were born with special talent, but that's simply not true. Confidence is not something you magically receive one day. Confidence is something you build through practice. Every time you speak English, even for a few minutes, you are training yourself to become more comfortable and more confident.
And here's something I want you to remember. You do not need perfect English to have a successful conversation. You only need the courage to try. Don't focus on speaking perfectly. Focus on communicating your ideas. Every conversation, every sentence, and every mistake is helping you move one step closer to fluency.
Exactly. So, stop worrying about what other people think. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start using the English you already know. Even small daily efforts can create amazing results over time. If you stay consistent and keep practicing, your future self will thank you for not giving up today.
Believe in yourself. Trust the learning process. And remember that progress is progress, no matter how small it may seem.
Keep speaking, keep learning, and keep growing. You are much closer to your English speaking goals than you think.
As we come to the end of today's episode, Let's quickly review the three main reasons why most people fail to speak English confidently. First, many learners focus too much on studying and not enough on actually speaking. Second, they are afraid of making mistakes and allow that fear to stop them from practicing. Third, they do not practice consistently, which makes it difficult to build confidence and improve over time.
That's right, Jason. The good news is that all of these problems can be solved. Start speaking with the English you already know. Don't be afraid of making mistakes because mistakes are part of the learning process. And most importantly, practice a little every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes of daily speaking can make a huge difference in your progress.
Remember, fluency doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from taking action, staying consistent, and believing in yourself. The more you use English, the more natural it will become.
So, challenge yourself today. Speak English, make mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Your English-speaking journey starts with the simple decision to open your mouth and speak.
Keep practicing, stay positive, and never give up on your goals. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and learned something valuable that will help you become a more confident English speaker.
If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, family members, or anyone who is learning English. Your support helps us create more useful content for English learners around the world.
We also have a challenge for you. Today, speak English for at least 10 minutes. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on communicating and practicing.
And don't forget to leave a comment below and tell us what is stopping you from speaking English. We'd love to hear from you and help you on your learning journey.
Thank you so much for listening and spending your time with us today.
Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself. Goodbye and take care.